I'm Ryan Boggs, and this is my Teysa Orzhov Scion deck. Got some pretty cool lands going on in here. Got all Ravnica Swamps, and I got the promo Plains.
That's fine, I'll hold this up here.
Got a Marsh Flats, Scrubland, Tainted Field, Isolated Chapel. Some good mana fixing going on. Got the Godless Shrine. The Windbrisk Heights is very easy to get its ability activated in this. Attack with 3 tokens, activate it. Usually get some good stuff under this, some utility. Got the Urborg, got the field to get back stuff. People like to do land destruction. The typical Cabal Coffers. Got Guildgate for more mana fixing. The Orzhov Basillica, the Heath. Got the Stronghold for some recursion, and the Phyrexian Tower for a sack outlet to add some mana. Got utility in the Vault of the Archangels, can give my creatures lifelink, death touch. Got Thespian Stage, usually copies the Cabal Coffers. Of course, got the Reliquary Tower. It's pretty easy to get my hand full in this deck. I can cycle the Barren Moor and the Secluded Steppe, get some cards. Get them back later because I got Sun Titan in the deck. There's a pretty big spell in here, and I'll show you it when we get to it. Besiege You helps it from not being countered. Got the Vesuva, it's utility. I can make a copy of a land with this, and then later I can bounce it back with a Basilica if I want it to be something else. Thawing Glaciers is really good to thin the deck out to grab some mana, and I have the Landfall Angel in here to produce tokens. Deserted Temple usually untaps the coffers or one of the other utility lands. Then I got the High Market, creature sack, gain a life. Usually when someone goes exile a creature or steal it, I'll sack it in response and just recur it later. Here's some ramp. Got the Crypt Ghast will help ramp my black mana. The X-Dort's pretty nice. People find it annoying. Soul Ring, it's a staple. Get it out there. Usually ramp pretty hard early game. Got the Orzhov Signet, the Keyrune, which I can animate into a white and black thrall to take advantage of Teysa's ability, and it can recur with Sun Titan if it gets destroyed. Got the Cluestone here. Ramp early game. Sack it to draw a card. Attack with Sun Titan, get it back, or attack with the Orzhov Thrall that's in here, get it back. There's multiple ways to return this to draw some cards off of it. Got the Gilded Lotus, to pretty heavy mana ramp right there. There's a lot of utility lands in here. Got to run the Expedition map in these colors. You don't really want to waste a true tutor on lands too much. Again, this can be recurred pretty easy. Got Solemn, grabs a land, dies, draws a card, animate him, do it again. Requiem Angel works really well with Teysa. When another non-spirit dies, it'll put out the white spirits. There's a way to go infinite with this, but I don't do it with this deck. Got the Sorin in here, puts out the Vampire. The Emblem is actually really good in this deck. I almost never do his ultimate. Never get up and use it. Here's Emeria Angel, the Landfall Angel. A lot of lands are in the battlefield in this deck. Just get a 1/1 out of it. And it's 3/3 flyer, beat down. Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts. She's beat down, she's Pillow Fort, and she fuels the old Teysa. So these two work very well together. Got the Deathpact Angel. 5/5 flying for 6 mana is awesome, and especially when it dies, it'll get a token out with Teysa, and then it'll also get a token out that's a cleric that can recur it. Got the Twilight Drover. There's a lot of creatures entering and leaving play in here, so even this triggers off opponent's creatures as well. Like I said, there's a lot of token decks out there. I can take advantage of it. Get those 2 white flyers again, the sack with Teysa to get rid of, you know, problems and threats. Conqueror's Pledge will puts out the white core soldier tokens, which fuel for Teysa again. Grave Titan's just a solid body. I mean, you get 10 power out of a 6 mana cost creature, and he's got Death Touch. He dies or the zombies die, you'll get a 1/1 flying spirit token with Teysa. Eldrazi Monument gives your creatures +1/+1 flying indestructible. You have to sack a creature in your upkeep, but you have a lot of tokens out of this deck. It's usually not a problem. You usually get this out and it ends games pretty fast. Mirror Entity, this again is a game changer. There's been times I have Cabal Coffers out, I'll pump so much mana into my creatures and going for the kill. Elesh Norn will kill opposing token decks. It's really annoying. Like, it'll keep smaller generals from being threatening. It'll pump my creatures to ridiculous. It's just a really good card. Mentor the Meek is really good card advantage. There's a lot of low-costing creatures here entering the battlefield, so late game you need some cards in your hand, put out some tokens, draw some cards. And there's a lot of low toughness creatures in here. Equip them with Skull Clamp, draw some cards. Equip a big creature with Skull Clamp. Someone targets it to exile it. You can either sack the Teysa or the High Market or other sack effect to draw some cards, recur it later. Got the Divining Top in here. This is just a very good card. Set up your library, draw in response to something. Got some tutors in here. Got Demonic Tutor, Diabolic Intent, and Liliana. Don't really go Ultimate Liliana. She's pretty much in here to tutor. Maybe make someone discard something. Diabolic Intent is a really good tutor. A lot of people forget about.
Off the top of my head,
Animate Dead. This is a very good card. It's amazing in this deck. A lot of creatures are dying by either my effects or opponents. Take advantage of some utility creatures. This is trading post is a good way to recur those artifacts. There's a lot of artifacts out there. It also puts out white goats, which works with Teysa. You can also sack creatures again to recur the artifacts. You can also sack artifacts to draw cards. It's just a very versatile card. It's pure utility. Sepulchral Primordial, very good, made definitely for multiplayer. Bigger games, the better. Animating this multiple times, sometimes like get this out, grab a bunch of creatures, sack it to something, animate it with shoulder. It's disgusting. Obsidat's aids a recur spell for permanence. It's just an awesome card. I'm glad they printed it. I was pretty excited about it. Very, like a lot of utility in that. Here's everybody's most hated card. Here's Sholdred. Usually I'm using her to get creatures back. The opponent sacking creatures isn't too big of a deal because I have Grave Pact in here. I'll get more opponent sacking creatures out of Grave Pact than her, but it's just a nice effect. Sun Titan recurs all those low-costing permanents, lands, you know, the mana rocks I sack to draw cards, whatnot. Get some creatures back late game. Treasury Thrall gets those artifact creatures and enchantments back. It's got some Extort, which late game's pretty good. Necromancy is another Animate Dead effect, but you can use this at an instant speed. You have to sack the creature in a turn, but this can be a response to something. Mortal Servitude, there's a lot of creatures here that range from their cost upward. Like, it's very balanced, so I'll usually always get multiple creatures with this, with the paying X. Anthem effects plus Graveyard Recur is just awesome. Multi-kicker late game, just dump a bunch of mana in this, get a bunch of creatures back. This guy's a gem. I'm really happy they made him. Ashen Rider, exile those pesky permanents out there. He also, when he dies, he exiles again, so he's a 2-for-1. He also feels Teysa. Mortify is good creature enchantment removal at instant speed. Duplicate is the staple, just exile creatures. Got the Angel of Despair. She hits permanent. She's Vindicate on a stick. She's classic, not as good as Ashen Rider, but I still love her. Luminant Primordial, Swords of Plowshares, everyone. Necrotic Sliver destroys permanents, and you can recur it with Sun Titan. This guy, when he gets online, is really hard to get rid of. And who knew that black had such effective artifact destruction? Gate the Phyrexia, when paired with a token deck, is disgusting. Got Unmake. It's very flavorful for the deck. Instant speed, exile a creature. There's no drawback like Swords. You won't give them life, they don't get a land. It's just exile a creature. Grave Pact, with this out, it's hard for opponents to keep creatures on the board. If there's a lot of nasty creatures out there, I will sack the False Prophet, exile them, and I'll recur this with Volrath Stronghold over and over and over again to keep the board clear. I get a lot of creatures out, my opponents tend to get a lot of creatures out, so Decree of Pain usually draws me a lot of cards. March of Souls replaces creatures, everybody's creatures, with 1/1 white spirits. It's good for Teysa. I mean, who cares if they have 1/1 white spirits? Usually they're going to be bigger than yours. Or usually you're going to exile their creatures. Your spirits are going to be bigger than theirs. If Elish Norn's out, they're going to get them. It's going to die. Like Sudden Spoiling, utility. They swing at you with an Avacyn, it becomes a 0/2. You block it and kill it. Base Reward will recur those permanents that people like to destroy. Rootborn Defenses prevent from a Wrath effect and Populate. Populate's not really too valuable, but it just gets you an extra dude. Death of the Deathless. This is usually the kill spell. With Besiege You backing this, can't be countered. We usually kill every opponent at the table. You got to watch out though for those decks that run copy effects like Reverberate. True Conviction, give all your dudes Double Strike, Lifelink, pretty good. Falconwrath Noble, turn those Wrath of Gods into a bunch of pain dealt to everybody, gain some life. This token deck, you're constantly sacking tokens with Teysa, gain life, deal some damage. Got Warhammer in here for some late game life gain, some trample, some buff. This is just a really good utility card. This can go in pretty much every deck. Beckon Apparition, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. If they're trying to instant speed or just trying to get a creature back that's a problem, or a card, just exile it and get a 1/1 white and black spirit, again for use with Teysa. Void Maul, this is a card a lot of people forget about, and this can pretty much hose a lot of opposing Reanimator decks. He has the other ability to take cards that gets exiled with him and put them back into the player's graveyard to buff him. So usually when he's out, if creatures die, I'll bring mine back into the graveyard and leave the opponent's exiled. Nile Spellbomb, get rid of people's graveyards, draw cards. I can recur this pretty easy. Got the Ghost Councils in here. This one's really flavorful. He is good beatdown, and his two loss of life and gaining 2 is pretty viable late game when people's life totals are going down. The Ghost Council is a sack outlet himself, and he's very dodgy for removal effects, so very good cards right there. Blind Obedience, you got Extort built in, and then artifacts and creatures come into play tapped for opponents. That's really good when late game when they're trying to get answers to your big creatures for blockers. Helm of Possession, pretty much sack a token in this deck and gain control of an opponent's creature. Usually I'll end up sacking their creature to something and then just untapping this and doing it again. Sin Collector has proved to be very good against control. I can equip him with Skull Clamp, draw 2 cards, recur him with Sun Titan. Finally got Quicksilver Amulet. Instant speed, playing creatures that really pretty much can't be countered unless they counter the activated abilities. Awesome. There's a lot of high cost creatures in here, so this just gets them in on the cheap. Well, that's it. That's my Teysa Orzhov Scion deck. Try to make it pretty flavorful. It's a blast to play. Been working on getting it pimped out, so tell me what you guys think.